Today, we're going to be talking to a queen who has been at the forefront of shouting out racial inequalities and standing strong as a Black queen among a lot of hate toward her, a lot of aggression toward her. And she has standed strong, beautiful, powerful. We love her. Today, live from Chicago, we're going to be celebrating Pride with the one and only Vixen.
How you doing, Johnny?
Sweetie, I'm doing good. Looking at you, I'm looking at your palm fronds, your zebra. You're giving me a full look today.
Well, my house is definitely a drag house, so it's very comfortable for a queen.
So, Vixen, it's Pride season, but more than ever, this is fight season. This is time for us to be fighting for the rights of all Black people and for changing up the system. You've been talking about this since you burst onto the scene, even in Drag Race. You've been really shedding a light on this. This is a moment where people are looking to you for what you have to say, and you've been saying a lot and saying it eloquently. How are you feeling and how are you processing what's going on?
Thank you. It's a little strange, you know. There's a lot of things that I like to be right about, but this isn't one of them. And so I appreciate a lot of the retroactive love that's been coming in, but there's a little side eye because, you know, of course, there's people who were totally against me that are suddenly so into it. And so I'm just trying to take it with grace and do some good out of it and make the most of the moment, I guess.
Yeah. Now, you wrote a tweet that I think is just so right on that I want to show it. I want to read it.
Okay.
You said, ask not what your militant Black queen can do for you, but what you can do for your militant Black queen.
Yes.
Please expound upon that and say it loud for the white people in the back.
Absolutely. So I guess, you know, right now, because it's so Black is so in right now, there's a lot of people, you know, reaching out who are doing programming for the first time, maybe that is centered on Black Lives Matter or Black issues or just Black entertainers. And a lot of times I get a message like, hey, how you doing? You know, you've always been working at this. I would love for you to come help with my programming because we believe that you have the voice or whatever, which is great. But I don't hear a lot of people saying, hey, you know, you've been working at this for a long time. How can we help you? And so I feel like even though I've been doing the work for so long, now that people are finally getting into it, it's just giving me more work. And I think if we're building numbers and allies, then that means that things should be a little less heavy on my load and that, you know, some people can come in and help carry the weight.
What do you think is the most important thing, you know, we can tell our audience to be doing right now if they want to be an ally?
Donating to bail funds, donating to drag shows, donating to, you know, I have a show on Twitch. There's so many drag shows on Twitch. The entire drag community is, you know, scratching and surviving because of COVID-19. So I think first, instead of trying to make yourself look cool by, you know, hopping on the bandwagon, see how you can support the systems that have already been in place and doing the work. And a lot of that is monetary, you know, but if you don't have the money, you can always share and amplify the voice of somebody else instead of using the voice for your own benefit. So I'm trying to push that message gently.
You're doing Black Girl Magic on Twitch.
Yeah, it's been really cool. Ever since the quarantine started, we figured out that we could get a show together on Twitch. And what's great about it is that not only do we have the capacity to have all the girls we regularly have, but I could have as many girls as I want, really, and I could have girls from all over the world and girls of any age. And so it's made the show twice as big and twice as fun.
And it's just like it's something important for people to tune into and to really support our queens, because like you said, the COVID decimated everyone's ability to go perform live and make money. And at the smallest level, you can be supporting and tipping and watching your Black Queens on shows like Black Girl Magic.
Yeah, and it's really great because a lot of times we don't post the videos from the live shows because it always gets taken down on YouTube because of music and things like that. So having it on the internet where so many people can see it all at one time, it's like everybody's like, "Oh, Black Girl Magic is really cool," and I'm like, "We've been new."
Now let's talk about another tweet that you wrote. Another amazing one said, "When we say all cops are bad, jobs of enforcing laws that systematically oppress and devalue Black lives is a bad job. The best way to protect and serve our community in Trump's America is to put down your badge. Remember, Hitler's soldiers were just doing their job." Vixen, you always know how to put it down sharply, and put it down sharply right there. Can you talk to me a little more about that?
Yeah, I mean, because I have friends and family who are cops or know cops, and like everyone knows someone in the police force if they think hard enough. And you might think, oh, that person's not bad. But in the case of like the George Floyd murder, when you have a cop standing guard while a cop has a knee on an innocent man's throat, and you have that cop gets fired, but then the whole squad is charged with the task to protect his house instead of, looking out for the people in the community. I think it lets you know that your boss is an asshole. And so at some point your principles have to take over. And when it seems like the government and the country's police force as a whole is set on devaluing Black lives, I think you have a moral obligation to stand against that.
How are you handling it emotionally, and how are you processing?
Well, for me, when the quarantine started, being able to do drag in my house every day was very therapeutic because I love to work and I love to create things. So I was, getting no sleep, but it was at least keeping my mind off of things. And then, so when the protests started happening, I noticed a lot of people were kind of shaming anybody who was putting out anything that wasn't about the protests or about the murders. And for me, as an artist, I need that escape. I need to create something to get through it. And so I've been really pushing the idea that, art is protest because it is. And that for mental health and for people like me, people in the Black community, people who have always been in tune with the issues, it's not helpful to stay buried in it. We've been buried in it. We've been oversaturated with the drama. So it's very important to have an escape. I took this last weekend off and just was in a cabin in the woods, decompressing. It was really, really great. And now that I'm back to work, I'm still making sure that I'm not taking on too much work because, like I said, we have so many allies ready to work right now. It shouldn't all fall on the people who've been doing the work. And so just kind of protecting my energy and conserving it and, still trying to make sure that I'm doing things that I love and not punishing myself or overcompensating because honestly, I think I don't have anything to overcompensate for. I know a lot of people are working double time out of guilt or, the shame of feeling like you weren't involved. I don't have that. So. Hey, hey, hey.